Sunday edition of Cast Iron IRL with Honey J Badger. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Everybody a second for me to get connected to the chat as always, and give everybody a minute or two to come on in and say hello and get situated, get a seat at the table, which is always good. Yeah, so here we go. All right, I'm connected to the chat. If anybody can hear or see me, please hit the like button so I know that you're out there and I can be seen and heard. Rick Stunwall, good morning. How are you? And there I am connected to the chat. How's that? Nothing going on. Nothing going on but the dog barking at the squirrels. She had to be moved to the other room. You hear me fine? Good. So, one thing before anybody else gets here, I got to grab a canister. I got to grab a fuel canister. I forgot that. Give me 10 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get my fuel canister for the all right, yeah, I had to get my fuel canister for the because I'm going to be using my camping stove inside today, which if you folks that don't have you do not have a gas stove like I do not have a gas stove, one of these camping stoves is great for when you really need that extra little bit of heat, even heat. So there we are. All right, let's get down to it. So I'm trying to figure out where we're going to start this, but I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and mix up our batter with using our sourdough discard. Now the cool thing about this this recipe is that you do not need a like a fermentation period. You don't need to make this batter the night before, although you can, and it has hey GH, what's up, buddy? Although you can make this recipe ahead of time and for up to 24 hours, and you can get that fermentation time, but in this case it isn't necessary. So let me grab my coffee and we'll get started. And then toward the end, at some point here, we'll do a little tutorial on feeding my sourdough starter. Now I've had a lot of success with this over the past couple weeks, and I showed you guys my my starter that I resurrected from the garage and all that. So I've had really good luck with it. My starter's sitting right over here. It's kind of fallen since I brought it into the cooler kitchen from out of the garage. You can see that it's kind of went down a little bit. Usually when I start out at 30 grams of starter, I'm right at the bottom of the mason jar logo. And peak fermentation in 24 hours, I usually get up to right underneath the ball logo, which is the little slash line underneath there. That's usually where I get with this. And that's just with 30 grams of starter. And I've got my little cup. I was out taking the beagle for a walk this morning at like 7 in the morning. And I know some of you guys probably remember that I was talking about my neighbor that does briskets on his big Stillwell cast iron smoker, and he was out this morning putting the finishing touches on something, and he's a pretty interesting guy. He has lived all over the country doing he works in the gas and oil business. And Edward, good morning, how are you? And so he used to live in Seattle, and he's one of these guys that really takes on picking up how the local cuisines. And when he lived in Seattle, he really jumped into how to make coffee. And this morning at 7 o'clock, I was talking with him. He was outside doing his smoking thing, and I was walking the beagle. And he made me a double latte, double espresso latte, white chocolate this morning, and it was absolutely fantastic. And so here's my cup. So I kind of had to hold off on my coffee this morning after having a double espresso, but it was really super. It was a super nice way, unexpected way to start out my day. Lake Hickory guy, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so anyway, enough about my coffee and the Beagle. But let's get into this. I went ahead because I'm just using, this is my digital scale, and I use this actually literally for sending out packages, but it works okay for, it works pretty good for in the kitchen as well. So it kind of does double duty. But I wasn't sure how well it would do double duty. So I went ahead and I measured some stuff ahead of time, and I've written down what I measured and how I did it. And then we'll go from there. We'll mix our batter because I'm gonna let that batter sit about 10 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and heat up while I'm doing that, we'll heat up our griddle. Oh, I gotta get out butter too. I forgot butter. But, and then we'll, because I do have to add butter to this. And I'm gonna add butter to the maple syrup that we're gonna use today too. So, I guess I didn't come as prepared for class as I thought I did. Yeah, because we're going to do our butter and maple syrup together. And this batch is going to make about, I would say a solid 6 to 7 waffles is what the recipe's for. Zoe, good morning. Hey Mac, what's going on? Good to see you. See, we got some people starting to show up. Okay, cool. McKay, is that what it's supposed to be? Sorry, I can't read it. It just kind of scrolled past me. But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream this morning. And like I said, we're going to be doing, this is basically a sourdough discard waffle. And the star of the show today, for those of you guys that are new or aren't new to the channel, we're going to be doing, this is a super, super rare Wapak tapered logo, and they call that tapered because it gets smaller as it goes down. And this is a very, very rare version of a Wapak waffle iron. I cannot find it, and it's a number 7. If you can see the bottom, the 7 there at the bottom. Am I getting you guys in the shot real well? This size and that logo, I can't even find a picture of this on the internet. So, I mean, if that tells you how rare this actually is. And it's super cool. It works. I've only used it once. Twice. I've used this twice now. And so we're going to be using roughly 100-year-old waffle iron today. Waffles don't they sound good? And I got to point out, when I did the very first one, I got that waffle iron gifted to me by our friend and previous guest, Artie Bliss. I said that I'd never had waffles, and my mom watched that video, and she said, you used to have waffles all the time when you were a little kid. Your aunt used to take you to this waffle place there in the city she lived in, and she said you would go every Sunday. And as soon as she said that, I started to remember that, yeah, and they were awesome. Old man with a pan, I like that iron. What's the diameter? It looks small. Yeah, it's a number 7. Your standard size would be the 8. You'd be a little bigger. I can measure it real quick. The only problem with this, messing with this thing is the handles are cracked. And I actually, the same guy that made me the coffee this morning, had handles made for his espresso machine. And I'm gonna call that guy about having handles made for my waffle iron. And I know that this is the diameter on this old man with a pan is exactly 6 inches. Yeah, it is very small, very, very small. But once I get the information and everything, if the guy can actually make these compression fit waffle iron handles, the wooden ones, then I'll pass that along to you guys, because I know a lot of you guys out there are trying to find handles for your waffle irons as well. So if this all works out, and he is stateside, So, and he doesn't do it as a hobby. This is what he does for a living. So hopefully we can start finding a resource that actually does custom handles for our waffle irons and cast iron skillets. And we don't have to wait on somebody who kind of does it as a hobby to do them for us. So that'd be great. Let me flip the overhead light on. It's so bright in here. I had to actually have my sunglasses on in the kitchen earlier. The sun was coming right in the windows. But anyway, let's get started on all this. We're going to get everything mixed up. Now, one thing I did want to do is I wanted to measure out. I'm going to need 100 grams of the starter. So I'm going to start out with actually my starter that I'm using. And I'm going to get that down to 30 grams. Now, each one of these mason jars, the pint jars themselves, weigh 250 grams. Hey, Handsome Stone, what's up, buddy? I could use some waffle iron handles that aren't too expensive. I have no idea about this guy. I just found out about it this morning. So yeah, I'm gonna do the legwork for everybody and see if it can be done, because you know, like with these waffle iron handles, they're flat on one side, so they're not your regular handle. So anyway, I'll definitely keep you guys posted and see how this goes. So I want to get this down to, I should be at 345 grams. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah, so I should be at 345 grams. That's where my starter, when it's fed, sits. That's where I want it to sit. But what I want to take this down to is 280 grams, because I want to have 30 grams of starter left over. If that makes sense. So I'm going to take this down to 280, and hopefully this actually stays on. You can see how foamy this is. And I've got more starter, a discard behind me. So, oh wait, I messed that. Wait. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it this way. Okay, so we're gonna take that off of there. I can fit, yeah, I see what I'm doing. I almost messed myself up. So we're at 310. And this is kind of the consistency you want with sourdough starter. You don't want it thin. You want it to be almost like a how do I want to say it? Like a muffin batter. You want it to be thick. And that's where I was making my mistake to begin with. Mercy B, what's up? How are you? Good morning. And that's where I was making the mistake with my starter, is I was making it too thin and it wasn't activating. So we'll see if we're down to 280, and then I can set that off to the side. I'm gonna need a little bit more. And when I first started messing with sourdough starter, so I'm down to 280. Okay, so I'm cool there. All right. Okay, so I can put this back off to the side. So that means we have 65 grams. We have 65 grams right here in this. So I have 65 grams into of the starter right now. Okay, so we need another 35 grams of the other starter, of the other discard. And I wanted to use the newer one because the better your discard is, the better and fluffier that your pancakes are gonna come out. I've never made the waffles before, but we've made pancakes. I've never made sourdough waffles before, but we've made sourdough pancake discard pancakes before, and they are awesome. They're just the best pancakes I've ever had. So I've got last night's discard, which should be another 65 grams in this container. So what we'll do is we'll get this and we'll tear it off once we get up there, because there is so much minutia. Oh, I hit the wrong button, sorry. There's so much minutia with sourdough starter. There really is. So we need another 35 grams of this. So we'll get that back to 0. That should be right at 0. And then we'll get 35 grams of this. Sorry if my arm's in the way. This is really, there we go. So 35 grams. So that's our 100 grams if you followed my Ohio math. So we should be at exactly 100 grams of starter. There we go. Dirty Dan, call it our little burnt hot dog. We just screwed ketchup and mustard and force fed him frogs. I must have miscarded. Discard bagels used in Baca too. Lodge's recipe of the month is delicious. Handsome Stone, I do not know what I'm going to do with, hey, Smoking Bears, what's up, buddy? Good show today. I do not know what I'm going to do with Lodge cast iron because I tell you what, I cannot get to their site to save my life. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I cannot get to it at all, and I can't do it if I go directly, and I can't do it if I go to through the through my emails. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm just stuck. I'm just out of there. There's nothing going on in there. Oh, and I see the moderators worked. Okay, good. So now Rick and GH, you're moderators for me now. I appreciate that, guys. And hopefully we don't have another situation like we had on Thursday. It's just pretty sticky and not fun. Okay, so we've got our 100 grams of our starter, like I said. Now then and like I was saying earlier, there's so much minutia in sourdough starter that it's insane. But I'll tell you what, once I got out of I got it out of my mind, just go by standard, standard imperial units, everything has worked out for me so much better. So my starter's taken off. So definitely invest in a digital scale, even if it's the one you use to ship your eBay stuff with. Definitely use a digital scale. It works. Let's see. Moving on up. Yeah, I got moderators now. Now all I need is what is it? 370 more subscribers, and I'm in the big leagues. I'm officially a YouTuber, I guess, with a cooking channel, which is completely ironic to me. 100%. But I didn't know how well the scale would work out, so I did pre-measure everything. I've got homemade buttermilk made. If you guys can see that that's curdled up a little bit, I did it with vinegar. This is 90 grams of milk, which is about 3.3 cups, or a third, 3.3 of a cup. So that's, anyway, 90 grams. So I put a quarter teaspoon of vinegar in it, and that seems to be, the measurement seems to be right on there, because to make homemade buttermilk, you need a teaspoon of vinegar and a cup of milk, and then you have to do your conversions after that. And then, let's see, we're gonna have 25 grams of melted butter, 75 grams of flour, which I already weighed out, 25 grams of sugar, 5 grams of baking powder, and 3 grams of salt. And that's really what I was worried about, was the smaller gram amounts than I was the bigger ones. I knew the bigger ones would work, but I wasn't sure about these on this scale. But it panned out for me, so I'm pretty cool with that. So let's get the mixing bowl out and start mixing this together and get started making our stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and pop my griddle on and start slowly heating that up. My iron, I mean. There we go. And there is going to be a little finagling with that waffle iron because the handles are broke, so you guys are going to have to cut me a little slack. Robert and Robin Milliken, what are you making? I'm making sourdough discard waffles on a 100-year-old restored Wapak cast iron griddle. That's what we're making. And I'm also going to top it with some maple syrup mixed with my butter. And that's all we're gonna make today. I've got a lunch dinner, so I got a dinner to go to at about 2:30, 3 o'clock today, so I'm trying to keep my breakfast light and my caffeine down a little bit after I've already had a Dunkin's Donuts worth of caffeine this morning. Has everybody hit the thumbs up and the sub? Yeah, that'd be great if you guys did. The like button. I'd like to hit 50 likes today if I can. That's kind of my mini goal, and as many subscribers as we can nail out, as we can possibly get today. If you enjoy the channel, please come back by hitting the subscribe and get notifications. We do this every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. Thursday at 8 p.m. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to get my egg in there. The egg's the only thing that's not in grams. Go figure. So got that in there. Toss that off to the side for the compost pile. We're going to get everything, and what we'll do is we'll mix this up. We're going to give it about a 10-minute about a 10-minute rest, which is about as much time as it's going to take me to show you guys how I feed my sourdough. So we're going to start with the liquid stuff on the bottom, which is our homemade buttermilk, and rinse that out. So I'm probably going to need that again here in a second. After I got to kick the camera stand at least once. That's kind of good. That's like a sip for me. I keep a good 4 cups, 20 ounce cups. Yeah, wow, that's getting up there. I don't mind it. I just have to. Yesterday it affects my sleep. And yesterday I made egg rolls and I had Red Bulls with my egg rolls, so I didn't fall asleep till about 3 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't jacked up from it. I can't sleep. I'm also going to drop in just a little bit of cinnamon into this and nutmeg, and I'll dig that out, or just some pumpkin spice. We'll go fallish with it. Then we'll throw in our 100 grams of starter into there. And this starter, I mean, I really am digging this whole thing. And the thing of it is, if you have a starter and you end up with a lot of starter itself, not discard, but starter, you can keep it in the refrigerator as long as it's kept in the refrigerator. I suggest keeping it toward the back of the refrigerator, and take it out as you need it. Because once you figure out how to, does your starter have a name? Mine is Audrey too. Feed me. This originally came from Jay Justice, who's a viewer, and the name of it was Hair of the Dog, because he's an Alaskan dog musher and does, I think, Arctic Circle as well. And he's the one that gave it to me, but I have renamed it Minutia, because to me, sourdough is nothing but minutia. So I'm up every morning at 6:30. Yeah, this morning I didn't go to bed till 3, and I was up at 7, a little before 7, when my internal body clock went off. So then we're going to throw our dry ingredients, which once again is, let's see, 3 grams of salt, 5 grams baking powder, 25 grams of sugar, and 75 grams of flour. And then I'm going to mix in 25 grams of melted butter into this. So we're going to do that as well. And I've got the melted butter over here off to the side. So let's turn this on. Get that to 0. There, 25. Perfect. All right. Let me wipe this off, and we'll set that back down, because I'm going to use the rest of that butter to mix in with my to mix. Ooh, I just splashed my thing. Okay. Hazard of the job. Okay, so then we'll mix that into there. There we go. And I'll get a whisk and whisk this together. And we'll mix this in there. And then what I'll do here in a second is we'll set this off to the side, and then I'll show you how I feed my starter, which is right over there. And we give this a chance to rest and that iron a little chance to heat up real hot. Because that was the thing I noticed the last time I did this was try brown butter sometimes gives a nice nutty flavor. Oh, okay. We're using, for this, I usually don't use salted butter, but for this, I did an extra gram of salt in the recipe, and I'm using and I'm gonna baste the I'm gonna do excuse me. I'm gonna baste the waffle iron one time with salted butter as well to kind of help this brown up a little better. Because that was a problem I had last time, is that I just couldn't quite get. I could get browned on one side and not browned on the other. So I'm hoping that the salted butter might help with that a little bit. Because for those that don't know, salted butter browns a lot better than unsalted, which is why when I do cast iron cooking, I generally use unsalted butter in everything. Carpenter Dennis. Bonjour. That's the extent of my French. Right there, that's it. Bonjour. I can't even order a beer in French. Kind of sad, but true. A little frog in my throat here this morning. All right. So while we have that setting off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to refeed our starter and get that going back to where we need it. So I'll need my scale back. And salt is such a great flavor. Yes, it is. I can never taste. I can't really either, but I'm kind of weird. My dad was a huge salt person. Like, he was that guy that always salted everything. And I think that really turned me off of salt for the most part. So let me get my stuff ready before we start doing anything. Let me get my flour down, because I neglected to leave my flour can out, and I will need that. I know people who could pinch of salt in their coffee every morning. I used to know when I used to go over to the VFW when I was a little kid. One of the neighbors would take us to the VFW for the fish fries on Fridays, and all the vets would put a pinch of salt in their beer to take the foam down. Let's see. They say it's great. I've never tried it though. I've never tried it either. I know when I was doing keto, I was putting butter in my coffee, which is probably absolutely horrific for you. Okay, so we should be at 280 for this. This is where we get. Okay, so we're at exactly 280. Can you guys see that? Okay, good. Okay, so what I like to do is I'm going to take this to 310. You're going to do equal parts. So you got 30 grams of starter, roughly, and I need to get a different jar. Tomorrow after this is fed, I'm going to change the jars and clean and give it a clean one, because it's good to have a clean jar. This has been the same one for this has only been 10 days, 10, maybe 12 days, and this is what the jar looks like already. So change your jars if you can. So we're at 280 with that, and then I want to go to 310 with my water that's tempered. Okay, 315. I'll take just a little bit of that water out, because the water, having too much water is never a good thing. Okay, so 315. And since the starter is like really thick, I can just drain off a little bit of that, or you can take a spoon and do it. So we're back to 310. So then what I'm gonna do with this is we're gonna go to, I add an extra 5 grams of, I generally have to use an extra 5 grams, so I'm gonna go 35 grams of all-purpose flour. And that water is filtered water, so it's non-chlorinated water. So it's not tap water, because you don't want to use tap water if you live like in a city that uses chlorine in their water. You don't want to use that. You want to at least filter it through a Brita, which is what that is. And then we're going to go 35 grams. I'm going to look at how this looks on the inside, because I want a paste. I want it like a really thick batter. I don't want it runny at all. So I am going to do, let's see, no, it'd be 45. My bad. 45. So we're at 330, and I want to get to at least 40, if not a touch more. I'll go with that because it's going to jump. I got a feeling it's going to jump on me. And then we'll mix that up. It doesn't have to be, it can have a little bit of lump into it, as I smack the camera. Handsome Stone had a good point. Hey Scotty, what's going on, buddy? Good morning. Oh, I missed Handsome Stone's really good point. Sorry, I was eyeballing the scale. Okay. Now it looks pretty soupy, or it looks pretty thick at this point, but that's okay. You guys can see in there, that's okay, because it's gonna eventually, you're gonna get that water in there. But ideally you want to go equal amount starter, equal amount water, equal amount flour. And don't use self-rising flour, use all-purpose flour. And a good one if you can get it. So we're gonna see what this comes out to be. It should be about 340. Oh, I tore it off, my bad. 340, okay, so we're cool on that. All right, so we're good. And that's all you gotta do. And just keep it somewhere. I've been keeping mine in the garage because the garage has stayed fairly, because it cools down a lot on the inside of the house and overnight, but my garage stays about 70 degrees. So you don't want to put it in front of a fan. You don't want to put it in front of a drafty area. Just keep it somewhere where it's about 65 degrees and up, or fairly stable temperature. And then you're ready to go. And I do leave a lid on it. The other thing that I do is throughout the day, I'll just kind of come in and give it some air. Give it just a smidge of air, and then put the lid back on. I don't sit and do much else to it. So we're gonna get all this stuff out of the way, if at all possible. And we're gonna start making waffles. I am gonna put some of that syrup and get a space cleared out. 100% healthier. What's 100% healthier? Sourdough? Anytime you can add anything fermented into your diet is always, it's always a good thing, I think. But I'm not a doctor, I just play one on the interwebs. Drink the rest of that water. Okay, there we go. So there we are. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix in. I'm gonna warm up we're gonna move this over very, very carefully. Our open fire. Don't try this at home. I'm a totally untrained professional and could be burned at any second. Okay, there we go. There's that. Get you guys a little more in front of the action, as they say, with this. And I think we can probably safely get started making some sort of a pancake or some kind of a waffle. Let me pour this into pour this batter into my measuring cup to give me a little bit more ability to flow. Get my flow going, as they say. That should be a good place to start. Start right about there. And when we need more, if we need more, we'll get more. Okay, and I've got my cooking spray, and I'm hoping that this sits right about there. That'll at least prop that up just some. All right, cool. All right, let's make some waffles. Oh, I gotta warm my syrup up. A little more syrup than that. I mean, if we're gonna eat syrup, we might as well eat a bunch of syrup. All right, there we go. Okay, we've got that heating up and seems to be steaming, which is where we want it. And let's get our butter into there. Oh shoot, I used the butter. Okay, we'll just use the spray. We'll just use the spray, we'll be all right. Let's see, butter and coffee 100% healthier than creamer. Oh yeah, 100%. I think Anne's just saying concentrated creamer, yeah. Yeah, that concentrated, that creamer powder, I don't know what that stuff is. I haven't used that, not to shame anybody for their coffee choices, but I haven't used that stuff in years and years and years. We get both sides of this going. And remember, the first waffle is always the worst. Let's see here. Let's get that going. And we'll pour some waffle batter in there. It's got a sizzle. We'll start out with just about that much. I don't want to overflow it. The less I overflow it, the less I've got to clean. There we go. All right, cool. We'll see what's going on in the comments then. Public service now. Our artificial intelligent reggae covers of Metallica is way too awesome. I have seen that. I have seen those channels. No, I'm not doing any sides today because usually I do a full breakfast, but today I have a lunch gathering I have to go to after this, so I'm just going to make a few waffles, and that's going to be it. We're going to be keeping it kind of short today. Waiting for that steam, unless we're not going to get any steam. But we'll see how it goes. Because the waffle maker is kind of new. I mean, using the cast iron waffle, anything with cast iron is always a learning curve. There's always a little bit of a learning curve to it. So today is no exception. Shibo, what's up, buddy? Yeah, normally I wouldn't mind some bacon, but like I said, today's more about the starter than about the starter and the cast iron, what we're actually using, as opposed to what it actually making a full breakfast. So I just like playing with this thing. Give that a flip, see how we do. I've got my handy dandy tool to that going. And get a pair of tongs, and I've got one of these. My ex-neighbor had two boys. Said the older sibling are like pancakes. The first one is always the discard, yeah. And one of the things I will show, it's a score of mine that I got a while back. I love these things. Jackson China. If you guys can ever find Jackson China for dinnerware, I highly, highly recommend it. It is absolutely phenomenal to use. Super thick. And there we go. How about that? That's looking pretty good. I'll take that as the first waffle. Let's check out the other side. See how that did. That's not too bad. I'll take that one. Yeah, that looks really good. I like. Okay, so this recipe will go into the cards, into the card box. I don't know how well that's going to do. I didn't bring any more butter out either, but I gotta use both hands to flip because that thing's the way it is. There we go, okay. So let's do our, and that seemed to be a pretty decent amount to put in there. Let me go a little thicker. I don't want to go too thick on these because that seems to be working. I'll take that. Smash it down and see what we get. There we go, cool. Dolly, the Phoenix Fireside. Hello, good morning, Dolly. How are you? Good to see you. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of, dish out a little bit of syrup. So there's our pancake, or I keep saying pancake. There's our waffle. We'll get some syrup on that bad boy, and we'll keep this train going. And I was just eyeballing. I was waiting for the steam to come through, but I didn't see much steam. So we'll see what happens. I guess that's what we're gonna do. And honestly, what's the worst thing that can happen? We set the kitchen on the fire and burn some waffles. And if that's the worst thing that happens to me today, it won't be that bad of a day. Okay. So we spooned up a little bit of syrup on there. Well, those are looking pretty good. I'll show you guys. I know I got you guys tightened in on this thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna call that a win as far as that goes, if I'm not too close. There you go. And I'm gonna flip that over. I give it about 2 minutes. We're gonna flip that over to this side. And we're gonna eyeball that for another 2 minutes. Let's see. This is why I can't have any. Your quantum reality. Why are we using 100-year-old waffle maker? Because the 100-year-old waffle makers are super cool. That's why. And this one, you cannot find this thing anywhere. That's the other reason. These things cannot be found any place at all. This particular one I cannot find anywhere but in my kitchen. I cannot find it on the internet. I can't find it any place. Let's see, Beeg scraps. Yeah, speaking of the Beegs, she's been going to war with the squirrels today. So she's on point of total squirrel patrol. That's exactly where she's at today. Old is new around here. Yeah, there you go. Old is new around here. 100%. Let's check and see how that's doing. Yeah, man, these are banging them out today. Keep that in there. Check the other side. I think the other side, I'm gonna go out on a limb and throw that back onto this side for a little bit longer and see how that works. Oh, is Ronald Coward in here? There he is. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. So about that statement, honey, one for sale my way. You found one of these tapered logo number 7s your way? That's super cool because that's the first one I've ever seen. I mean, I can't find these. I've looked them up online. I can't even find a picture of one online, like just to see a picture of it, to be honest. And I'm usually pretty sleuthy when it comes to finding iron online, to be 100%. Scotty Mercy B. But yeah, let's flip that back over and see what we get. I'm really excited to see if I can find these handles. That's one thing that really I'm pretty stoked about this morning. I think that's going to be good enough. That looks pretty decent. Pop that out. No stick, man. Look at that. Ooh, about dropped it though. And I'm going to dab. I'm going to let that keep that heating up. But I like that temperature. I'm going to have to kind of eyeball and remember that temperature. Keep this warm syrup on there. Keep my pancake or my waffles warm. One of these times I'm going to quit saying pancake. And there is nothing better than mixing the butter with the syrup, in my humble opinion. And that's just if you ask, for my humble opinion. Yeah, a tapered yes. Then that would be a score. What's the? Do you know what the price is on it? Handsome Stone. Do you have any idea what they're asking for something like that? Jelly is also good on a waffle. Yeah, yeah, you're 100%. What your quantum reality? What kind? What's your favorite jelly to put on a waffle? Better than Eggos for sure. Yeah, I'm not a big Eggo fan. I mean, they do in a pinch for the kids before school, but I try to stay away from that kind of stuff too. Go a little bigger. Go bigger, go home, right? But I don't want to go so bigger that I got a bigger mess. But so far, I don't have any kind of mess, really. Apricot. Apricot's great. One of these days, we'll do, I'll make my mom's concoction. And this, I don't know how common this is. My mom says it's a southern thing. But she makes this thing called Jezebel out of apricot jam and apple jam. And then she mixes it with horseradish and mustard powder. And it is the best. It is the best thing that. And then she pours it over cream cheese. It is the best. It is one of the best things I've ever. It's one of my favorite snacks ever. Yeah, I found the waffle iron goes between $200 to $500. Good find. Oh, thanks, Shell. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Let's see. I stick a couple sunny side eggs on the top of my waffle after the butter and syrup. That's a great idea. I've never thought to do that. Yeah, apricot's good. I like peanut butter, one pancake. I haven't had waffles in decades. Yeah, I hadn't. Like I said earlier, I thought I'd never had a waffle in my life until I got this thing. But evidently, Ma Badger turned me out to be a filthy liar. So, shell shock. That's it. I like the handle as well. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notifications. We do this twice a week with a lot of times cast iron that I've restored myself, and we go from there. Let that sit another minute. Give it the full 2 minutes. Yeah, 100%. Pat Z. There she is. There we go. Good to see you. Yeah. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 50 likes today, if that's at all possible. But if not, it's we're still having waffles on a really cool cast iron waffle iron. Let's flip this over and see how that looks. That side's good. We're gonna give that one side just about a minute. We'll give that a minute, and then we'll take it off and see how that works. 'Cause I'm ready for some waffles. I'm not coffeeed out, but I'm ready for some solid food. Yeah, 30 would be cool. 30 would be fun too. I'll take 30. But I'd rather have 50. Let's see, if anyone has a unique jam preserve recipe, I'm interested. Preserves are my other deep dive hobby. Oh, very cool. You know, my mom used to make, because I grew up on a farm, and my mom, it was a generational farm, and we had wild strawberries, blackberries, dewberries, all those things along our fence lines, and they grew every year. Mulberries, both red and black raspberries. We had all that stuff, and my mom and grandma would make jam out of that every year. That and occasionally rhubarb, and they'd mix rhubarb in with stuff to get rid of the rhubarb. And I asked my mom for her recipe, and she doesn't remember how she did it. Okay, so there was an extra minute on the other side. So without burning my arm, let's see how we did. And I don't know if you guys can see the flame down at the bottom. I don't have it going like crazy high. I think I'm gonna give that just a... See, that's the problem I had last time. It started out really well, and then the second side wouldn't brown up. Mesquite jelly bean tastes like honey. You have to be close to mesquite tree. Mesquite bean jelly. Oh, an actual mesquite bean jelly. Oh, okay. You could add Angie Mack. Angie Mack, good morning. How are you? Yeah. Yeah, chia seeds. I do like chia seeds. But back to Patsy's things. Mesquite bean jelly. I have never heard of that. That sounds fantastic. Now, Pat, I got to ask you, is that just, are you just using the mesquite bean alone? Or are you adding like fruit to it? Or how are you doing that? Maybe get another light brush of butter. Yeah, I might have to actually break out some butter here because I don't know if that's giving me what I want. But I'm about done as well. I think I'm going to give that, I'm actually going to give that a little bit of time, and I think I'm going to grab just another stick of butter out. Yeah, good morning, Angie Mac. Good to see you. Glad you could make it to this silly little channel on a Sunday morning. Joel Vetters. Good morning, Joel. How are you? You know, 1 pound of bacon equals 2 BLT sandwiches. Yeah, that's about how I like mine. If not, it might, actually, I wouldn't even mind 1 to 1 if I can get big enough bread. Boil the dried beans and treat the liquid like grape juice in a jelly recipe. I'll be damned. I have never heard of that. I have never heard of that. You'll have to email. I do have an email in my bio, Pat Z. If you can come across a recipe for that, if you could send me that, I would really appreciate it. I'd give that a try. Let's see. Oh, let's check the other side here right quick. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to say let's poke it. See, it can be a little crisper. But I'm just going to pull that one off because it's starting to smell, I'm starting to smell burn. And I don't want to smell burn. I'll just take the crispy side and we'll put that, yeah, it's starting to burn in that one corner. And I'm going to rub just a little bit of that butter into here. I'm just going to rub it onto one side. What side? The B side. I'm going to go B side because the B side seems to be, no, the A side. We'll rub the A side because the A side is the one that seems to be having the trouble. So we'll do that. Your twice a week Sundays, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Yeah, Pat, I have an email you can go to and hit me up directly in my bio, and you can contact me there. There we go. I'm not afraid to do this. I'm not afraid to raw dog this. Hopefully that's not too much butter. And I might need a little bit more batter. And hopefully this doesn't smash all over the place. This doesn't flip. Might need a little bit more batter. Keep my hands away from that side. There we go. Use the rest of that. And then we'll just scrape the bowl for the rest. We'll scrape the bowl out. Because there's plenty of batter here in the bowl, for sure. That we got to use up. But I'm also wanting to dig into some waffles. So that might be a little much, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, the worst thing that happens today is I got to clean up a little bit of waffle batter. I've had way worse cleanups from this channel. There we go. Cool. Pour some syrup onto my waffles. Get you guys a shot of the waffles here. As soon as I syrup and butter these bad boys up. But I'm getting quite a stack. And I don't want to freeze just one waffle. So might as well eat it. But yeah, we're looking pretty good on the waffles so far. Nice stack of, that's some Sunday morning right there, folks. That is some Sunday morning. I will take that all day long. All right, let's keep going here. Vin Diesel, what's up? Good to see you. Vin Diesel has been here before, so it's always good to see folks that come back. Very, very nice. But yeah, if we could have everybody just take a second. It's minimal effort to smack that like button real quick, double tap that screen, and that would be fantastic. We can share this with more folks in the morning. Jalapeno mint jelly sounds good. Yeah, that does sound good. Mine has lime juice in it too. Oh, okay. Got some mint jelly fans. I like mint jelly with my lamb chops. That's almost a must-have. Let's see. That looks amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Rick. Appreciate it. I've discovered maple syrup that was stored in old whiskey barrels. It's awesome. I've discovered. What's the brand of it, buddy? If you don't mind sharing. I like this one that I get, and I actually get it from the grocery store, and it's maple syrup and honey mixture. Next time I go, I'm probably going to the grocery tonight, and if I can find it, I'll pick it up and show you guys this maple syrup that I found. That's honey and syrup together, and it's super good. I just happen to have this from when we went to the Amish store a while back, actually. I think that was Amish store. Let's see. Was Cynthia in here? Cynthia Wesley, is she here? Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That's me. If you want to get in crisp. Yeah, they have been crisp. The last one didn't crisp up as good as the first two. But that's why I rubbed a little bit of that salted butter on there, and hopefully that'll give it a little more, do a little bit more for it. Plus I could move that down a little bit. It kind of sits funny on there because I didn't show you guys the bottom, but there's a post. There's 4 posts on the bottom of this, and if it wasn't like crazy hot, I think it slipped over a little bit one-sidedly. And the posts are what would have kept it in an old wood stove in the eyes. And mine is on these stands here, and it's moved over to my right just a little bit. So that might be the other reason I'm getting a little more uneven. And I'm not going to grab it because we're almost done, and I'm not going to do that today. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I've sent some emails to Fuzz, and I have not seen him anywhere. And Cynthia I think Cynthia does the church thing on. Cynthia and Val, I think they do the church thing on Sunday mornings, and they're in different places than different time zones than me. Watch out, Beagle. Beagle, go on, scooch. No burnt beagles on Sundays. Let's give that a check on the other side. There we go. Ooh, that one actually stuck this time. Oh, I didn't hit that one, but it shouldn't be stuck too terribly bad. There we go. Yeah, it's not. We'll give that a little bit more time. Yeah, I had that problem last time of it just not wanting to crisp up on the bottom as well. And yeah, I am off center just a little bit to the right. So Fuzz may have been eaten by his cats. There is a good possibility of that. He only has about maybe 25, 30 cats. And if you sleep in a refrigerator box with 25 to 35 cats, you're kind of, things could go awry, to say the least. But, and Fuzz, we shouldn't fake Fuzz too much, even though it is fun, because he's not here to defend himself. Hey, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you this morning. If you want both sides crisp between waffles, reheat each side of the iron. There you go. Thank you, Lake Hickory guy. See, that's why I love it when you guys are in here. Tips, tips, tips. And not just for me, but for everybody. Not just for me, but everybody. And you're right, in between each one, I should have done that. That's something, yeah, didn't even think about. But that's what happens when you're reading comments, making stuff. We've been doing a lot of stuff. We've made sourdough discard waffles. We've talked about our tapered logo waffle iron, and we've made sourdough discard today. So I think overall we've had a pretty productive morning. A good cast iron morning. There we go. Yeah, that's just getting a little off center. So we're going to take that off of there. I'm actually not, inside of that part's a little burnt. I think I'm going to pull that corner piece out. We're going to turn this off. Kill the flame. We're going to kill the flame and put it in neutral. And let that sit there. And we're going to have some waffles. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to actually take this one piece off of there because I don't want a burnt waffle of any kind. Because, I mean, if you're going to have waffles, you might as well have the ones you want, especially all the work we did to get there. So I'm going to cut that piece off and set that off to the side. The one side came out okay, but you can see that one corner where it sort of moved over, it was kind of getting a little browner. So we're going to top that with a little more of the maple syrup, and then we're going to dig into this big mess of carbohydrates and delicious sourdough goodness. Now, hopefully these are as near good as the pancakes, because those pancakes that I made with the discard were the best pancakes I've ever had in my life. They were, I mean, better than anything I've ever got at a diner. They beat it all. I'm definitely having waffles for breakfast next weekend. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, 100%, Rick. 100%. Everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome. So let's get out a knife and fork and dig into these things. And they are pretty crunchy. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah, they've got some crunch. Let's get a big old... Oh man, that's really good. That is super, super good. That recipe is definitely going into the recipe box. My buddy Keith, he is no longer able to drunk comment on our channel, and I think from the locale of where he was, I would say at 2 o'clock in the morning in his particular locality of the world, I would say that Keith had way more to drink that Thursday than I did. So I'd say that's where he's at, and he's not going to be. He won't be here anymore. And you know, I put up. I've never had moderators, and I've never actually taken somebody out of the channel before, so you know it had to be bad. But I'm not going to get all into that. But yeah, and I've done almost 125 videos, and I put up some pretty weird comments and pretty snide remarks, and I don't mind it. I got pretty I could give Waffle House some pointers. Maybe. But this is pretty good. I don't remember the last time I was at a Waffle House though either. I can't remember what their waffles were like. No, that's alright. Oh, we can talk. These are nice and crispy, even though they've kind of sat for a minute. But the warm butter and maple syrup has definitely helped. Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to allude to say, and that's why we brought in some moderators to kind of mess with stuff. Guess what I found at the Covered Bridge Festival, HB? The one in your state or the one in mine? Because we have one here too. We have a Covered Bridge Festival here as well, Ronald. But yeah, that's where we brought some moderators, and that's all well and good, and that's cool. 100%. But so now we can enjoy our. There we go. That's a lot of waffles, guys. These might be going into the fridge for later. Oh, okay, gotcha. Rick and Greg are regular since beginning and heavy hitters in the cast iron community. There we go. Yeah, yeah, it's not a ton, but yeah, we definitely don't need the trolls to ruin the festivities. It's one thing to be chippy and things like that, but it's just, you know, it's a cooking channel. It's a cooking and cast iron restoration channel for you know, on average 75-year-old pieces of cookware. There's no reason to take it that seriously. I don't take it that seriously, to be honest. I mean, if you're going to take this channel more seriously than I take this channel, I mean, if anybody takes it seriously, you're missing the point, because it's not supposed to be. Yeah, keeping it all about the cast iron, Lee. Man, these are good. These are good. That syrup, I don't know. It's all right. But yeah, overall, man, pretty good stuff. Oh, okay. That's cool. We're getting ready to stain some big shelves in your display, in your antiques, for your antiques. Very nice. Where did you get the waffle iron from, if I may ask? Last year, I've got a friend of mine who, Artie Bliss, he also has a channel called Adopted Iron. Artie is really, he's really widely known in the cast iron community, and him and I have become friends over the past few years, and he was gracious enough, back, I believe in February it was, to bring us a lot of really rare pieces of cast iron to check out and identify for an identification live stream, and he actually gifted that to me because he knows he knows that I collect Wapak. Wapak and pickleware are kind of my main and as far as vintage goes. That's really the ones I collect. And Wagner, just because I live around there. Yeah, absolutely. He gifted it to me, and you can see that. You can actually see the waffle iron before it was mine, from one of the older videos with Artie, and we did that. That was a good show. I can't wait to do that again. He'll be back here in my state pretty soon. But anyway, let's do a little Beagle cam. Beagle, you want to get a treat? You want to try some waffle? There we go. We're gonna get everybody. There we go. Unless anybody has any cast iron questions for me, you can ask them now. And like about prices or identification or care or use and all that. I'd be glad to answer any questions that anybody has. Yeah, we need to bring Artie back. Artie will be back here again, and he is always actively collecting and all that. So he goes for the really rare stuff. Stuff you wouldn't think of. Beagle, you want to bite? You want to bite a waffle? There you go. Give me a spin, kid. Give me a spinner. Can I get a spin? You were just about half asleep over there. Give me a spin. Oh, there's one. There you go. Thank you. Is that 12 gonna clean up okay? Yeah, the one you donated to the channel, 100% that's gonna clean up okay. It's actually in the lye tank now, out in the garage, and it really wasn't in bad shape. I mean, I've definitely dealt with worse. Can you speak? Can you speak? Can you bark? There you go. Good job. But yeah, that was yeah, it's gonna be. I probably won't even put that in my e-tank. It'll be that easy to clean up. Can you sit? There you go. Yeah, Scotty, thanks for showing up, buddy. I appreciate you. Speak. 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 Speak good. Speak real good. There you go. I knew you had it in you, kid. But yeah, I think everybody, man, thanks to everybody that showed up. Ronald Coward, Mercy B, Scotty, Rick, Greg, Pat Z, Blue-Eyed Lady, how are you this morning? Good to see you. Yeah, we're just, the Beagle's doing a few tricks here this morning. Yeah, the Beagle. Yeah, Blue-Eyed Lady. That's a good handle. Can you speak? There you go. All right. Thanks for showing up today. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'm trying to think of who else was all in there. A, thank you so much for, yeah, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by for breakfast. Can you shake? Can you shake and not try and get the treat? There you go. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, me too. I'm an animal person. And if you guys checked it out, Nicole Miller, how are you this morning? Good to see you. Yeah, if you guys didn't check it out, we did harvest the pumpkins. I got the rest of them out yesterday. I ended up for the last round with 13, I believe. 13 of the pumpkins. So we'll be doing our marathon pumpkin. Make a little bit of everything. We'll do pumpkin bread. We'll do pumpkin seeds. We'll do any number of other things I can think of pumpkin-wise. Can I hit spin? Thank you. Good job. And yeah. Oh, Billy Lee found you some pumpkins. What kind did she get you? What time did she find for you? Yeah, Nicole, we do this every Thursday, or Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Sunday at 11 a.m. Yeah, so we'll be doing the pumpkin show will be coming up here real soon. And that'll start super early in the morning. And we'll go with that till it's done. So it's going to be pumpkin bread. I don't know if we might even do pumpkin pie. It's hard to say, but we're going to be doing a lot of pumpkin stuff. Unmarked Wagner B. Getting a hurricane swirl. Oh, you are? Oh, man. Jay Justice, what's up, buddy? We were talking about you earlier. Jay, when did you start making that hair of the dog's sourdough starter that we used today? Give one more spin? Give me one more spin. Come on, you can do a spin. And while I'm waiting for Jay to answer, come on. You don't like that spot, do you? You don't like the uneven? There you go. Your ears were burning? Yeah. And I know you've told me before, but I have CRS, so I can't remember, the rest of it. Oh, yeah. Oh wow, I'm all pumpkined up. Should have been Justice. Coming up on 25 years, I think. Very cool. And if you go back to the beginning of the video, you can see how far. I've actually gotten this down, and thank you so much for sending that starter my way. Speak. And thanks so much for sending that my way and getting me into the sourdough cult. I appreciate that. Now it's become like one of the things that I incorporated in my kitchen now that I've kind of gotten the idea of it, and I got to share a little bit of that today. Can you shake? Can you shake? You gotta shake first, goof. You were making sourdough pancakes. Yeah, I made sourdough discard waffles this morning. All right, one for the blue-eyed lady. Give me a spin. Can you give me a spin for the blue-eyed lady? Sort of. Come on, you can do better than that. You can do better. There you go. There. That's for you, blue-eyed lady. So if you hit the like button for that one, I'd appreciate it. And so would the beagle. All right, I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. Jay Justice, thanks for showing up. Everybody else, blue-eyed lady, thanks for showing up. Really appreciate it. We will see you guys on Thursday for sure. And gosh, so many other people. So many people were here today. Lake Hickory guy, thank you so much for showing up. Every week and every show. That's so appreciated. Can't say how much that's appreciated, to be honest. But yeah. Oh, thank you much. Made my day. Sure did hit the like button. Thank you so much, and the subscribe button if you can sneak that in. Yeah, Lake Hickory guy, thank you so much for hanging out. Biggs merch. You have to give me email me your size, Rick. We're getting pretty close. We were getting pretty close on the Beagle merch. So, a little closer than most people would think. You're welcome. Have a beautiful, blessed day. You too, blue-eyed lady. I appreciate it. And one more, Beagle. Can you speak? I don't want to give you too much more of this. Can you speak? Arf? Can you speak? Arf. Speak. Arf. Speak. Speak. There you go. Good one. All right. That's a good one on the way out. Yep. We'll see you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the comment section on Thursday. All right. See you.